We are very, very excited for the training portion of this afternoon because can we all agree what we saw today makes sense to us? Right? It makes sense to us. Well, the best part about it is, hey, how do I go out and do it? Because I remember sitting in those seats just like you. I had that thought in my head, man, if I get this one guy, I'm going to be a millionaire. Anybody ever think of that? Man, I get this one person in, I'm going to be a millionaire. It's going to be unbelievable. That one guy came and went, man. I don't even know him, but it doesn't matter because the system that we have in place, the ability to talk to every single person that you know, knowing that you don't have to jeopardize your relationship because of our no investment, no risk opportunity, but that doesn't mean no value whatsoever. The gentleman I'm going to bring up is going to be able to articulate that for you and explain exactly how you can maximize what North American Tower has on the table. Because if you're going to do anything, don't you want to do it to your best? Right? Well, I've mentored under this gentleman for the last 16, 17 months, and talk about someone growing. You ever meet somebody and you just know they're out to achieve something? I mean, you've met them before, they're unshakable, they're resolved. It doesn't matter if they feel like doing it or not. If they wake up and have a bad day, we all have bad days. If you have a bad day and you don't feel like doing it, this gentleman still does it. Regardless of what happens every single day. He just goes out there and does it over and over and over again. He has perfected a system along with our Vice President of Sales and Training, John Costino, and Ms. Vanessa Jackson as well here, have put this system in place where you can plug into it and it's fail-safe as long as you follow that blueprint for success. So very excited to have him come up front. I'm not going to steal his thunder too much. I want him to tell you his story, but in just short 24 months, was able to change his life financially. Do some things for his family that people working their jobs for 40 years and wouldn't have the ability to do what he just did for his family. He's going to be able to share some of that stuff with you. Very excited to have him come up in front of the room. My mentor in this business, over 21,000 customers in his organization as well. Just an unbelievable person. Top producing, #1 in our company, Regional Director, Mr. Bob Heilig.
Great. Well, I'll tell you, Hayden said a lot of nice things about me, which all of them aren't true.
Kidding. No, I appreciate that introduction, and it's incredibly exciting to be here with you today. I'll tell you, with the holidays, we weren't sure, what kind of turnout that we were going to get, and we knew with Mr. Breitbart coming down that would probably get a decent turnout, but I'm guessing, so all your holiday shopping is done early this year, I'm guessing. Yeah. You're like, come on, I can get to the mall after this. So good. Well, listen, I appreciate that introduction by Andy, and I really, did Brendan not do a phenomenal job this morning? So here's really where the rubber meets the road. This is the training component. You saw the opportunity. You saw the type of money that was available. So from this point forward, we're going to really talk about what you're going to have to do to be able to have the kind of success that you want to have in this business. And my portion of the training here, we're really fortunate because our director of training, as Brendan mentioned, Ms. Vanessa Jackson, is going to really be taking you through the step-by-step process of how to have success, the actual mechanics of our business. But I just want to take a couple of minutes to talk about something else that I think is really important for you to understand. I like to really refer to as the philosophies of this business. Some things that, unless you understand going into actually taking action, you're going to struggle while you're taking the action. Because there are certain, what I like to call, enemies of success that you're going to face on a daily basis in a business like this, that I think if you're aware of them in the beginning and you're prepared for them, I think it makes it a lot easier for you to deal with them when they actually show up. Because, being certain of one thing, these 4 enemies of success that I'm going to share with you, they will show up in your business every single day. So I want to talk a little bit about that, and in the essence of time, I'll kind of weave my story in as we go. But so I get a feel for the people that are here. How many people in the room here have never heard my story or heard me speak before? Show of hands. Okay, decent amount. So the Cliff Notes version is this. I grew up in South Jersey, not too far from here, Tabernacle. Anybody ever heard of Tabernacle? Tabernacle, New Jersey. And I've been. My background is in medical sales. And I heard about this company 2 years ago. Actually, a little over 2 years ago, a friend of mine called me. And the interesting thing was I wasn't looking for something else. But when I actually took the time to evaluate this opportunity, it was something that really just kind of caught my attention. It really resonated with me. I love the ideas that I heard in the presentation. And the one thing that always was frustrating for me, is there anybody else here that's in sales, any type of sales position? Maybe you can relate to this. It was always incredibly frustrating for me that I felt like most of the time, like as hard as I worked, I really never had complete control over what my income was going to look like. Anybody else feel that way? Especially in sales, when you have things like goals and there's competition, there's a lot of things that happen outside of your control that can affect your income. And I just started getting frustrated in my medical sales job because I felt like the harder I was working, the less money that my company was paying. Can anybody relate to that at all? So when I saw this, I really saw this as a way for me to get a little bit of that control back. And for me, it started out very simple. I said, you know what? I don't know if this is going to work or not. I remember when I called Brendan, I called, he was literally the second person that I called. The other person is a good friend of mine, Zach, who's an area director here in the second row. And I remember we all were like, I don't know if it's going to work, but what do we have to lose? Worst thing that happens is we fail and we're right back where we started. Well, I share that with you because it's kind of interesting how things have progressed. In 2 short years, I've gone from let's see if it'll work to 2 years later being able to build a business that pays 22,000 customers today. Because of North American Power, I was able to completely walk away from my full-time career in medical sales. I like to say I fired my boss about 6 weeks ago. I don't share that with you to brag. All right, maybe I do. Okay, I'm proud of what I've done. But here's the thing, guys, is what I'm about to talk to you about is something that I've dealt with and I deal with every single day in my business. You're going to deal with these things, and it is your ability to understand them and include them as an eventual part of your success that's going to determine whether you have the level of success you want. Is that fair enough? Okay, so let's talk about the 4 enemies of success. The first enemy, and this is the toughest one for people, is rejection. Look, you need to know something. More people will tell you no than tell you yes when you are approaching people about this opportunity. Has anybody found out that to be the case? Yeah. Okay. And I got a little puzzle here, but look, this is the hardest thing for people because the problem is that a lot of us, like I was in sales. So I remember when I heard that rejection is going to be an enemy for you, I remember thinking, I'm fine. Like I face rejection every single day, right? That's what I do. I'm in and out of doctors' offices. They tell me they don't want my product or my service, I'm fine. I'm on to the next doctor's office, right? Anybody like me that has a job where you face rejection daily? I'm telling you now that it's different here. And the reason why it's different is because you will be rejected by people that you love and care about. You will be rejected by your friends and by your family. And that is different than getting rejected by somebody you don't know. See, part of that is this, guys, is that when we get into a business like this, we have expectations of what we think people should do instead. Does that make sense? Like, how many of us got into the business and you were like, you had 2 or 3 people that you were like, you know what? These are my first 2 area directors. Like, this is a no-brainer, and you were so excited to go to those people. And look, Miss Jackson, Vanessa's going to teach you the system, and you knew it, but you were so excited, you just did it, whatever, you just explained to them anyway, and you're like, it doesn't matter, I can say whatever I want to these people, and they're going to get into this. And they looked at you like you had 3 heads. They were like, you're doing what? You're doing one of those things, right? Who here had somebody do that? And here's where it even becomes harder. Sometimes, it's not like they don't just reject you. Like they want to make sure you don't even do it. Right? How many people know like the crab in the barrel syndrome, right? Misery Loves Company. They're like, listen, if we're not getting out of the barrel, you sure as heck ain't getting out of the barrel. Yeah. Who do you think you are that you can go and be a business person and have success? See, these are the things that you're going to have to deal with. Now, let me tell you something, guys. And it's important to understand this. Opportunity is a 2-sided coin.
big as the opportunity is going to be for you, there will be an equal amount of adversity that you're going to have to face in order to achieve success. So doesn't it make sense that if you want a big opportunity, you're going to have to go through a lot of junk? I like to say, look, if you want to be successful in North American Power, you are going to have to go straight through the garbage dump. Every day you are going to be dealing with things and people that are going to try to knock you down, people that don't have dreams, that are going to want to try to steal your dreams and take your dreams. So you have to be prepared for it. See, here's the thing that I finally learned, is that you have to be able to control the way you respond when these things happen. See, when you're rejected, you got to understand one thing. They're not rejecting you, right? See, what I learned is that when I approach my friend Nelson and he rejects my opportunity, he's not rejecting me. You want to know what he's saying more than anything? That he doesn't believe in his own ability to get involved in something and be successful. You get that? Sure. See, when somebody, how many people have ever had somebody say, oh, that's too good to be true? You've never heard that, right? You have? Okay, wow. We must know some of the same people. You want to know what too good to be true is? That's somebody that doesn't expect good things to happen in their life. See, never in my life have I ever uttered the words too good to be true, and those words will never come out of my mouth because I expect good things to happen in my life. And when I'm presented with an opportunity, I just take it at face value. I understand opportunities are either taken advantage of or they're passed up, but you better believe somebody else will eventually take advantage of it. So don't take it personally. Understand it's more an indictment on that person than it is you and your opportunity when they reject it. Okay? The other part of it is this. No means no now, not forever. How many people have approached somebody that said no initially, but at some point got involved in the business? That will happen to every one of you. So look, don't get frustrated if your best friend that you want to build a multi-million-dollar business with tells you you're crazy the first time around. Because you know what? 60 days from now, you'll go back to them and share with them your success and what's happening, and guess what? Things changed for them. They just lost their job. They're angry at their boss. It's as simple as you might catch people on a bad day where they don't like their boss and they're open to your opportunity. So realize it's going to be a process, but rejection, guys, is going to be the first enemy, and it's one of the biggest things. Look, here's what I tell people. If you're serious, part-time, you're serious about being successful, you want to be a regional director, you want to be an area director, national director, you should be talking to a minimum of 3 to 5 people a day. Now, I say that, and some of you are like, wow. Because some of you aren't even talking to one person a day. And you think you're serious about North American Power. Let me ask you a question. How long does it take you to talk to someone? If you do it the right way, it takes you 5 minutes to have a conversation with someone. See, guys, it is your willingness to do this every day and be consistent that will determine whether you're successful or not. See, here's what I found. Activity is the cure-all in this business. You want to minimize the effects of rejection? Talk to a lot of people. You talk to a lot of people, you worry less about the 3 to 5 people that told you no. I talk to, you can't walk within 3 feet of me, you're going to hear about my business. Right? Like, at this point, I'm one of those guys, and I don't care. I'm going to talk to you about my business. And I literally have people, like, I'll be in the gym, people will come up to me, and they'll be like, oh, you know what, man, I didn't listen to that call yet, I didn't watch that video, I don't even remember I talked to you. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever, dude, that's fine. Because I'm not worried, I'm not living in the past, I'm looking into the future. Every day, new people. And if you're taking activity like that, it will minimize the effects of rejection. Okay, so that's the first enemy, is rejection. The second enemy of success is deception. This is an interesting one. What does deception look like and sound like? Well, let me give you an example. How many people here had somebody that said they were coming to this meeting, right? Like this morning, you texted them, talked to them, that magically didn't show up. That happened to anybody? Guess what? That happened to 13. Somebody's getting busy. Okay, all right. That happened to me. That's going to happen to you every meeting that you invite people to. I tell people, look, you want 2 people at the meeting, you better make sure 4 told you they're going to be here. Look, here's where it becomes different. Look, I remember in the beginning of the business, before I understood that this was a part of it, I would have people like, it would be a Thursday night meeting. We do our Thursday night meetings here. And I have a guest that I'm so excited about showing up. I'm like, man, I'm so excited. We got a good presenter today, right? We got good testimonials. And I was so excited to get this person here. And I was like, I'll text them, confirm them every day leading up. Still coming, yeah. Talk to them the day of, and it's like our meeting starts at 7:30. It's like 7:20. And I'm like, man, so I call them. I'm like, where are you? They're like, oh, I'm right around the corner. I was like, all right, good. I'm a whole meeting on it. I'm on my way. I just got lost, but I'm like right around the corner. Oh, I see the hotel. Is that it? And I'm like, come on, we get started meeting. Yes. They're just coming around Cutler Boulevard. Go. Right, 7:30. 7:35. They're like, listen, man, we got to start the meeting. We can't hold up the meeting for your one guest. I'm standing out here, right? And I see it every week. I see people standing in the hallway, right? They're like, texting, now they don't answer the text. They must be focused on the road. They don't want to text and drive. And that person never shows up. It's like the Bermuda Triangle around the hotel. Vanishing. And you call them later, right? And they're, oh man, let me tell you what happened. You don't understand. I got hit and run. Flat tires. A meteor came through the road. Right? And then you see him the next day and they're like, dude, you got your car fixed already? This is what people do. They lie to you. You will have people that you know, your friends and your family, right, that will tell you they're going to get on your website and sign up. And every day you pull up your report. I signed up. You did? All right, let's call the company. Oh, I'm busy. We'll call you later. Look, people will lie to you. People will not show up. This is going to happen. You've got to be prepared for it. So the second enemy of success, guys, is deception. Oh, here's one. This is the best one I ever heard. Okay, I just got to give you this real quick. So, I actually had a person tell me that they couldn't come to a meeting because their cat was sick, and they didn't want to leave home to watch after their cat. Third enemy of success is apathy. Here's what apathy is, okay? Here's where it gets interesting, guys. We're gonna, look, this training is gonna be a wake-up call for a lot of you. In my 2 years, I have personally recruited 127 people. 2 years. You wanna know how many people I had to talk to recruit 127? I'm probably at this point, I'm well over 1,000. I might be in the 1,000. A lot of people. I recruited 127 people, okay? About 40, 40 of which ever even got a customer. So let me say that another way. I signed up almost 90 people. Now you understand, look, when you sign somebody up, you're going through the same process with them. Getting them on the call, going through the website, spending time training them. You go through the emotions of being excited. This person's going to be what gets me where I want to go. And 90 of them never even got one customer. Why is that? It's apathy. It's part of the business. So some of you are like, well, shoot. It puts in perspective for you really what you've done and what you have to do, right? Michael, regional director, founding regional director, Michael D'Angelo, you know how many people you've recruited to date, signed up? 87.
I'm in the thousands.
Right. Brendan, how many people?
80.
80. Mike Delanco, area director, is an animal. You're probably in the hundreds.
95.
95. Mike Lawson, area director.
58.
58. Andy, how many people have you recruited personally?
50 plus.
50 plus. Where's Bob and Kevin? Bob Dorn, Kevin Marino.
We in the first few months 27, but over a couple of years over 100.
Over 100. Where's Carl? Carl here, 90. Mike Stalla. Look,
75.
so you go, every single person that's area director and above, I guarantee you, has recruited in the neighborhood of 100 or more people. And here's the funny thing. You've recruited 6, and you're just frustrated because you don't know why it's happening. Isn't that interesting? So why do the 90 people not get a customer? Well, there's a couple of reasons, guys. Number one is you have to realize you do play a critical role in if that actually happens or not. See, Vanessa's going to talk to you today about getting people started. Leadership in this company is one thing and one thing only, it's influence. You play a critical role in the first 72 hours of a new person's business to get them an immediate result that a lot of times you got to create by rolling your sleeves up and going to work. And if you can show somebody a result immediately, here's what I try to do. I try to recruit one person for my new person within the first 3 days, or as far as I'm concerned, it's all out the window now. Because if you can put one person into that person's business, it will keep them engaged. It creates a fear of loss. I have people literally that, I recruited one person for them. They didn't do anything that I wanted them to do, and then when I started to build a team for them, it was like immediately they snapped into shape and they wanted to learn how to do it. So you do play a role in that. See, here are some of the things. Apathy a lot of times comes from uncoachability. Apathy sometimes comes from, you hear the training, you go out and you do it your own way, you fail, and you think it's because it doesn't work. Well, it's not because it doesn't work, it's because you didn't do it right. Okay, there is a right way to do it. Apathy sometimes comes from ego. Sometimes people learn the right way to do it, and they think they're above it. I was one of them. I remember, I'm like, I don't ask people to do me a favor. I do favors, I don't ask for favors. Right? I was a salesperson. My job is to present the information and act like an expert. And if somebody asks me a question, I better know the answer. It was hard for me to say, great question, let me get somebody else to answer. That's ego. You gotta, look, my mentors, Bob and Kevin, Bob Dorn, Kevin Marino told me, look, you gotta do 2 things. You gotta weigh your bank account and your ego. And whichever one is bigger, you decide what you want more. And I'll tell you, my ego was a lot bigger than my bank account 2 years ago. So I put my ego aside and I was coachable. Look, I'm going to make a point. Shyness is also ego. Interesting, huh? Some of you are like, well, I'm shy. See, shyness is you using your personality as an excuse for you not being what you can be in life. Shyness is a reaction to something that happened to you once, pain in your life, that you just said, I'm shy, so that you didn't have to step out of your comfort zone to face that rejection again. Shyness is ego. You've got to be able to put that aside, guys. You're going to be uncomfortable. Every single day you're going to be uncomfortable. Doesn't it make sense that if you want something that you've never had in life, that you're going to have to do something you've never done before? That's going to make you uncomfortable. Anytime you do something new, you're going to be uncomfortable. And guys, by the way, can I just make a comment about your comfort zone? Your comfort zone is a self-imposed prison. You live your entire life for the approval of other people. Your worst enemy your entire life has been the words, opinions of other people on yourself. Can I tell you something? They don't care about you. They don't care about you. I read a story once, this might put it in perspective for you. I read an article once talking about the average funeral. Some of you heard me say this before. The average funeral, less than 10 people actually cry. And you know the other interesting thing? The thing that determines whether people go from the actual service to the burial?
Weather.
The number one factor, you know what it is?
Weather.
The weather. So let me say that another way. You're going to spend your whole life worried about, oh, I can't talk to this person. I don't want them to know I'm doing one of these things. What are they going to think of me? Well, they're going to think I don't make enough money if I need to do a business, and I'm this and I'm that, and I drive a nice car and I live in a nice home. They don't know I'm broke. I can't let them know things aren't that well. And you live your whole life worried about what people think about you. And then you die, and they show up at your funeral. They don't even cry. They're probably checking their Facebook page. Right? And then when they walk outside, the thing that's going to determine whether they even see you buried in the ground is if it's drizzling. And you're going to worry about what these people think. Guys, put that stuff in perspective. That's the third thing that happens to you. The last enemy of success is attrition. This is hard sometimes, guys. What's attrition? Well, attrition is I bring in a new person. They're excited out of their mind. They're like, oh, man, you don't know who you just referred to. I'm like, yeah, John. You don't know who I know. I'm going to be your next regional director. And they go out, and they get their fast start bonus, and you're jacked out of your mind. You're like, man, this is it. And they have 10 customers their first week, right? They get the check, and you're like, now they're really going to start rocking. They got paid. They see the results. And you call them. You're like, man, we got training Saturday. You know, you're back from. It's weird. Call them on Monday. You don't even know why. You're like, you got paid. Right? What's happening? Look, this happens every step of your business. I've had people in my business, and any leader here will tell you the same thing. I have an area director in my business today that if you know how to get a hold of them, tell them. I sure tip them. They won't call me back. They won't answer my text messages. Right? These are people that I would text like 5 times a day, man. They're like, I'm jacked. I'm talking to people. And I'm like, sometimes I'd be like, man, you know, I tell you to call me whatever you want, but you know, I mean, you're going overboard. And then they just don't ever hear from me. I've had people literally that were, I mean, I had a guy that was in my business that was at every meeting. His entire family, I mean, was like the model. I mean, I was so excited about this person. I was like, this is the one, right? The one. Just overnight disappeared. Hundreds of customers, making money, disappeared. I had no idea why. It just happens. Look, guys, a lot of people, when they get into this business, they don't really have a why. They don't have a compelling reason why they want to do it. They don't have a dream, right? See, the thing that I've learned is that this business, it's just hard enough to weed out the people that don't really want it. See, if this was easy, it wouldn't pay as much as it does. If this was easy, you wouldn't have people earning hundreds of thousands of dollars in residual income like we do today, like some of the top money earners in this company. If it was easy, the company wouldn't need us. They just put it on the internet, send out flyers, and everybody sign up, and they get all customers. Well, that's not how it works, right? So you got to understand that going into it. Look, a lot of people don't have belief in themselves in doing something. They're knocked out of the box very quickly. And I'm going to tell you guys, there's a power of association in this business that is very important. You need to be around this as much as possible, because in the beginning, you don't have a very high belief level. I remember I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in the company, the industry. I didn't understand it. But the more I was around other people that had strong belief, that started to rub off on me. You guys, look, I'm telling you, if you don't have or don't develop belief, it's like driving a car with the parking brake on. In your business, you will work very hard, but if you don't develop belief, you will self-sabotage your own success over and over and over. So, look, if you don't have belief, get it from somebody else. I was always around Bob and Kevin because they already did what I did. They had 20,000 customers. I didn't know that I was going to be able to introduce, have 40 people lead me to 20,000 customers. I didn't know that. But I was around them and I saw it. They started to get me to think different. So that's an important part, guys. And the other thing is this, if you don't have a strong why, here's the analogy that I make. It's the difference between being on an escalator and a treadmill. See, on a treadmill, you will work hard and work up a sweat, but you won't get it. If you gotta have a compelling reason why you're doing this business, you gotta have something that's gonna get you out of bed early. right? Mind over mattress. Right? You gotta have something that was the toughest battle I needed to fight. Anybody else like me? You gotta have something to get you out of bed, guys. But I'm telling you, if you can understand these 4 enemies of success, and you can include them as an eventual part of your own success and be okay when they show up. Look, everybody is gonna have a ratio. My ratio was 120 people that I signed up, only about 30 of which even referred a customer. And of those 30, 2 of them have led me to 15,000 customers today. One of them, you heard this morning, Brendan Fagan, 10,000 customers. And the other one is, where's Mike? The other one is Mike standing up in the back. The other one is Mike Lawson, 5,000 customers today. 2 people, 15,000 customers. Now here's the exciting part about it. You come back 5 years from now, those 15,000 customers will probably be over 100,000. From 2 people. Brendan and I got lucky first week I called him, he signed up. See, some of you will get lucky. Some of you will find that person right away that gets in and has success. Others of you, it's going to take time. And the problem is you don't know how long it's going to take. It took me 13 months to get my Lawson. Every single 90 days I would call him up. Mike wouldn't even entertain a conversation with me for a year. Not about this. So the point is, guys, here's where you're going to have issues, and this is where you have to learn to deal with it. You're not going to know your numbers until you're there. And you're going to look. It's going to feel like it takes forever. And then once you hit regional director, you're going to look back, and it's going to seem like it happened overnight. When I was in it, I felt like it was forever. Ever. I questioned whether I could do it, whether it was going to work on a regular basis. And when I got there, I looked back, I'm like, I can't believe how fast this happened. And that's what's going to happen for you. And the thing is, guys, when you finally start seeing the results, when they show up in your business, 90% of the work is already done. So you're focused on the results in the beginning, and that's not the way it works. Every single one of you is going to have a journey, but as long as you're taking activity and doing what you need to do every single day, and you include all of these things that we talked about, guys, it is only a matter of time before you're successful. This company, I truly believe, is going to be not one of the largest network marketing or home-based business companies. I think we're going to be one of the most successful companies in the country, period. We're going to be you are in the first corporate office of Facebook. When all those employees, I'm telling you, this is it. So your goal should be this. This is what I'll close out with. Be here a year from now. 1 year commitment to this business, minimum. Now listen, don't show up a year from now and not do anything. Be like, dude, I'm here. Where's my checks? I got my bank account information screwed up. Well, I need a direct deposit. You got to work. Your first year will be learning. You will earn while you learn, but you will most likely not make big money in your first year. Your first year will be developing yourself and acquiring the necessary skills to allow you to go out and create wealth for you and your family. Month of September, I made more money in 1 month than I did my first year in this company. So the question is, are you going to stick to it long enough, guys? So, is that helpful? Before I bring up our featured trainer here, I want to make one note. I want to make sure everybody is aware of an event that we have coming up. Actually, in January 11th and 12th, we're having what we're calling the Power Surge event. It's going to be, in my opinion, the greatest training that we've ever had in this company to date. We've got Mr. Breitbart will be there. We have all of the executives, all of the top field leaders. It's a 2-day event where, listen, we work hard, guys, but we also like to have fun, right? Work hard, play hard. That's a 2-sided coin for us as well. So it's going to be a 2-day event. It's going to be held at the Valley Forge Casino Resort. We've negotiated discount rooms for Friday night. We encourage all of you to come out, and you're going to literally walk away from that event ready to really make this thing happen for you. The registration for the event can be found at www.e as in echo, z as in zebra, easy.com /NAP, like North American Power, NAP event. Easy.com /NAP event. Make sure you get registered. The event will most likely sell out, so get as many tickets as you can. So with that, guys, I had the distinct pleasure now of actually bringing